of itself with each passing day. Competition indeed breeds champions. It is the vision of true winners. Promoting competition while accommodating for changes is the goal of both the three-day journey we are embarking upon, as well as the field of competition law.
Today, as we celebrate the 75th year of our independence, we must accommodate the legal, social, and commercial developments that have taken place over the decades, and for the test and buttress our legal system and jurisprudence for the varying and the ever-evolving needs of the society. A healthy competition between the market forces is the sine qua non for the development of the country as well as for the economy. And as such, the laws regulating it must also have extensive and exhaustive advocacy and awareness, which is one of the aims being sought by the virtue of this competition in collaboration with the Competition Commission of India, the apex regulator of competition in India.
Good evening. Honorable Mr. Justice G. Raghuram, Ms. Zia Modi, Mr. Bharat Budholia, Professor Dr. V.C. Vivekanandan, Professor Dr. Uday Shankar, Dr. Anindya Tiwari, other revered guests of the days, delegates from the various institutions participating in this prestigious competition. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Prabhu Gupta,
and I, Vaishnavi Chandrakar,
welcome you to the inaugural ceremony for the 13th Justice Hidayatullah Memorial National Moot Court Competition 2023.
The teams would be placing their arguments before an imaginary court. This court has now completed 13 years of existence. It has certain sensitive cases pending before it. Therefore, there is a need for the upcoming lawyers and scholars to probe into various dimensions of competition law and its relationship with the other branches of law. That is where organizations like CCI and institutions like HNLU play a significant role by way of organizing programs like this to stimulate discussion and encourage delving into the legal complexities involved in it. Programs such as this would ensure contribution to the necessary capacity building in the realm of antitrust legal adjudication, thus enabling students to take up such challenges later in their careers.
At the outset, I would like to congratulate AZB and partners, the Competition Commission of India, as well as Hidayatullah National Law University, which is in its 20th year of existence, for organizing this competition in the memory of late Justice Hidayatullah and for the promotion of competition law. Justice Hidayatullah, an eminent jurist, author, and holder of the highest judicial office of the country, as well as the sole person to act both as the CJI and to hold the presidency, is truly befitting of all the accolades and prestige he was honored and accorded with. And this competition is a real tribute to his memory, as well as his spirit and love for the law.
Shubham Karoti Kalyanam, Arogyam Dhana Sampada, Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya, Deepa Jyoti Namastute.
Before we begin the program, let us light the lamp of goodness. I would now like to request the honorable dignitaries present on the dais to come and please light the diya and commemorate the commencement of the inaugural ceremony for this competition.
Now that the radiance of the light and shlokas has truly purified the milieu, I would further like to invite Dr. Anindya Tiwari, the faculty convener of the Moot Court Society and the organizing secretary of this competition, to deliver the welcoming address. Sir is a seasoned academician, author, administrator, and columnist having a vast experience in the world of legal education. A throughout NLU alumni with demonstrated history of working in the higher education sector, overlooking important academic and administrative practices. He is skilled in tax laws, banking law, corporate and securities law. We request you to kindly address the August gathering.
Thank you so much. A very good evening to everyone. I would take this opportunity to welcome the esteemed panelists of this ceremony. Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Sri G. Raghuram Sir, Guest of Honor, Ms. Diya Modi Ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V.C. Vivekanandan Sir, Registrar, Professor Dr. Uday Shankar Sir, my friend and guest, Mr. Bharat Budholia. I also humbly welcome all the judges, participants, faculty members, staff member, and students to the inaugural ceremony of the CCI HNLU 13 Justice Hidayatullah National Moot Court Competition. Having been our flagship moot court competition for over a decade now, it is always an honor to have the esteemed presence of luminaries with us, endeavoring to transform HNLU into a hub of intellectually stimulating activities. Professor Dr. V.C. Vivekanand, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, has consistently guided us to do better, to be the best, and we stand here with his committed guidance, having helped us in organizing this competition as well. The central theme of HNMCC is competition law, an upcoming field of law with extreme contemporary relevance. As we acknowledge the beginning of 13th edition of HNMCC, I want to take a moment to reflect on the previous editions of this competition and the moot court committees that have worked tirelessly in the past years and helped us reach where we stand here. I think of organizing secretaries who stood here before me. I feel honored to stand where they stood and being a part of the tradition that HNMCC has been for HNL. I'm honored to share the gratitude with all the students, organizers, and participants as well. HNMCC would be nothing without their consistent support and tireless effort. For us, HNMCC is not just a competition, but a spark that kindles interaction on contemporary issues. It is a platform that has been continuing these very conversations since 2008 and has served as a mechanism to help students build a nuanced argumentation style. Further, HNMCC is also an opportunity that helps us celebrate the undying memory of late Honorable Justice Hidayatullah, who firmly believed in the potential of young lawyers and how important it is to groom them at a young age. Being the youngest CJI appointed in any High Court of India, Justice Hidayatullah truly was an example of the wonders the youth is capable of, if the growth is in the right direction. A man of many firsts in India's legal history, Justice Hidayatullah bears the unique distinction of being the only Indian citizen in independent India to have held the offices of Chief Justice of India, Vice President of India, and Acting President of India. In furtherance of Justice Hidayatullah's principle, the HNMCC 2023 is being conducted to primarily instill critical thinking and ignite scholastic mind. In spirit of upholding Justice Hidayatullah's legacy and following in his footsteps, we are here to make the best of this opportunity. With the blessings of Lord Shri Krishna, out of our screens and back at the podium, the 13th edition of HNMCC is set to be a success, all because of everyone's involvement. However, the biggest token of gratitude is reserved for our esteemed guests and judges who took out time from their busy schedules to share with us their gracious presence and impeccable insight. Without them, the competition would not have brought even half of the value that it presently does to the legal sphere. In this spirit, we shall strive towards the motto of HNLU that reads Dharma Sansthapanartham, meaning for the sake of establishing the primacy of laws of eternal values. From the good times to the better, we have endeavored the creation of an initiative to benefit the students, the idea that are nurtured in the process, and the legal fraternity as a whole. Concluding my address, I wish and pray the best for all. May Lord Shri Krishna be gracious on all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the address, sir. I hope we will maintain this tradition set by past members, organizers, and participants of excellence and perfection for ages to come.
I would further like to invite the student convener of this competition, Mr. Ayush Shukla, to elucidate further about the moot.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished judges, esteemed guests, and dear participants. It is with great pleasure and honor that on behalf of the entire student organizing committee, I welcome you all to the 13th edition of the Justice Hidayatullah National Moot Court Competition. These 3 days would be an opportunity for the best and brightest legal minds to showcase not just their mastery of the law in a competitive and challenging environment, but to learn from the Maharathis of competition law. To the participants, I commend you for your hard work and dedication in preparing for this competition. When I say competition, it is not just about winning. It is about hustling, thriving, and constantly improving as a lawyer. We are here to learn, to grow, and to hone our skills. To the judges, I express my sincere gratitude for your benign presence in this competition. Your knowledge, experience, and expertise will provide invaluable guidance and feedback to our participants. Lastly, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for your dedication, hard work, and commitment to this year's HNMCC. May this competition be a rewarding and enriching experience for all of you, and may it continue to inspire us to strive for excellence in all our endeavors. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ayush, for those words and your hard work in the planning and execution of this event.
We believe that every small step counts towards protecting our planet, and that it is essential to take responsibility for our action, following which we have decided to go green and play our part in helping the environment. Therefore, we shall be honoring our guest with a sapling as a symbol of our commitment to environmental sustainability.
These green souvenirs serve as a symbol of our appreciation for our guests and our shared responsibility to protect the environment. May I now request our respected Vice Chancellor, sir, to present our Honorable Chief Guest with a sapling as a token of our warmth and reverence.
May I now request Registrar Sir to accord green souvenir to Zia Modi ma'am. The souvenir shall be presented Bharat Bidolia Sir in her stead. Graduated in year 2009 from HNLU, Bharat Bidolia Sir has more than 12 years of legal experience and is widely acknowledged for his legal acumen and quality of his legal advice. He has specialization in competition and antitrust law. Sir has worked at reputed organizations including Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas as a partner and is currently working at AZBM Partners for more than 3 years as partner handling competition and antitrust matters. Sir has been recognized for his work by various organizations including Chambers and Partners, Legal 500, to name a few. He has also been recognized as a future leader and is globally recommended lawyer for competition and antitrust matters, which adds to his reputation.
May I now request Dr. Vipin Kumar, the Dean of Internal Regulation, to please present Mr. Bharat Budholia, sir, with the sapling.
May I now request Professor Dr. Yogendra Kumar Srivastava, Dean of Outreach and PG Studies, to honor VC Sir with the sapling.
I would now like to request Professor Dr. Deepak Kumar Srivastav, the Dean of Undergrad Studies, to please honor our respected Registrar Sir with his happening.
May I now request Mr. Amitesh Deshmukh to please honor Mr. Anand Tiwari with the sapling.
Our esteemed university has touched numerous milestones under the able guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir. Professor Dr. V.C. Vivekanandan has 3 decades of teaching and research experience in legal education and has served institutions like NLS Bangalore and Nazar Hyderabad between 1990 to 2017. He was also the Dean of the Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Laws at IIT Kharagpur between 2009 and 10, as well as the founding Dean of the School of Law at Bennett University.
Sir holds a bachelor's degree, master's degree, and PhD in law, apart from master's and MPhil degree in public administration. Professor Vivekanandan was appointed as MHRD Chair Professor from 2008 to 2009, and again from 2010 to 2017. During his tenure, he was also representing the Government of India negotiations at SCCR as an official delegate from 2013 to 2015.
I would now like to request the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, to come and please present the opening remarks for this competition.
Good evening. Honorable Justice G. Raghuram Garu, Madam Jia Modi, Registrar of the University, and a distinguished alumni and participating today, Mr. Bharat, Organizing Secretary sitting here, Mr. Dr. Tiwari, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests who have come from different parts, and most importantly, our guests from different law schools all over the country who are assembled here. It is definitely a pleasure with a free of break what happened in between where life got lost somewhere. And then we are back to life in a way when I see this gathering today, reminiscent of the HNMCC 2019, which I was fortunate enough to be present at that time. So if I look at few comments of what is happening, we are very fast moving towards a techno business era than what it was about a decade or a couple of decades ago. So the way we manage competition, what I call the bad and ugly side of competition, which is always there in every aspect of process, was managed with little more ease with your old MRTP, APTEC, etc. But by the time we move to a new legal regime, the problem is the techno business regime is in a big spin. As I often quote that technology is a byproduct of a brilliant mind, but law always is a byproduct of collective frustration. So we try to catch up. By the time you give a speeding ticket to a car, it's in the next curve. So all the more the challenges of this regime of unfair competition, how to manage, requires much bigger speed and much different understanding of this techno business regime, what is happening, not just in the country, throughout the world. So technology is a juggernaut, which you will not be able to stop. You welcome, sometimes you are frustrated. So the question is, how do you manage the fallouts of technology combined with business today in every aspect, whether it is no more ordering some high-tech machine, and if you're ordering your ordinary masala dosa, then you've got a technology involved through your, Swiggy or Zomato. So you really find anything and everything under the sun suddenly going to land up with competition things. So in such case, this particular theme, which has been consistent in taking as a central theme of the MOOC, suddenly acquires a greater importance. And this particular MOOC traveler and what they have done is definitely a step forward, not just as a MOOC competition, but as a learning curve for all the young law students here, researchers, and colleagues. I'm pretty sure that HNMCC MOOC competition doesn't require a competition commission to regulate it, right? They had a very good track record, a fair track record, all that. So I'm pretty sure this competition, which will make people who come here, who participated, find it has been a very, very fair competition. And of course, the judges have a big role to play. Little few words about what is happening on the scene last year in Competition Commission. The good news is that they got an 89% disposal rate. That is a big, big figure. And when you compare to many of the track records in India, where they say that, chalta hai, right? Many, many aspects. Because I always tell, they look forward to technology and business in India a big way. When it comes to law and its processes, they always try to move outside our jurisdiction because they do find it's very frustrating. They do find it is not keeping pace what is happening in other jurisdictions. So nobody likes to, what we call as either mediation or India very much here, but they would like to keep it somewhere. It's fast changing, and probably this disposal rate, what the Competition Commission has been done is definitely encouraging thing. But apart from that, there are many issues. We were expecting what the amendment bill will bring in, but till now there are still hiccups. They thought it's going to be placed and it will be placed soon. And if there is difference between the committee as well as the proposed bill, especially few points which the young researchers and lawyers will be looking and giving further inputs like deal value threshold or short merger review or settlement and commitment, and then what you call very interesting, crime thriller called gun jumping and green channel, right? All that. And also, suddenly, India has also touched the most powerful operator in the world, what they call Google, right? That penalization has brought in different views, right? There are people who are appreciating that, and there are, suppose you are a person representing Google, I don't think so is going to appreciate that. Right? So you really find suddenly the Competition Commission is also in the news globally, what they are doing. So it is, they have to run and acquire capacity building, and they have to have more and more people joining. And I'm pretty sure in that direction, this particular competition and the teams what you've taken will be giving a great fillip to the other law schools and HNLU as well to do this. So if I do think that I'm quite happy that we are led by a very smart and what I call as a dynamic team. They're very smart. They give gifts to all the people here, which they can not take away, right? They have to give it back to university for planting, right? So they have achieved both the purpose of gifting as well as retailing it in a way. So it looks like a great amount of entrepreneurship is involved in the way the team is planning about few things. I'm pretty sure starting today, I think I was giving live updates by Dr. Tiwari from yesterday afternoon. Suddenly, I just took my WhatsApp when I got up. I just only read landing. I thought landing simply meant, somewhere in some planet, some kind of aircraft or some spacecraft landed, but it was what you call the first team landing in HNL was what he sent me as a message. So I thought it's a lot of excitement there, tracking live like a cricket match. And that has come to starting point today. And next 2 days is going to be a very stimulating daytime and a lot of fun time in the evenings. of 2 days of things happening, dinners, everything. I saw that, right? So I was, the team was very conservative. So I said, I'm the only liberal here in this university. So I said, why you are, shrinking your budget? Go ahead for these things, etc., etc. Sometimes I do get a little scared when I get a budget of DJ, right? But otherwise, I think, for education and other things, it is an investment, not an expenditure, right? So that way, I'm quite happy that I'm quite safe with the young teams taking leadership about various events, and then that will definitely give me a lot of relaxation. So let me thank everyone here, especially the chief guest who has come on my behalf, and Madam Ziamodi. I remember meeting her online last time, and she was very gracious after a few days calling me, and then appreciating our efforts and our commitment to the continued association with HNLU, and that I think will continue. And we do have a guarantor, Mr. Bharat, on that front, being part of ASB. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your golden words. It is indeed an honor to hear from you.
Ms. Zia J. Modi ma'am, co-founder and managing partner of AZB & Partners, is India's foremost corporate attorney. Ma'am is widely acknowledged for her expertise. In 2018 and 19, she was ranked 1 by Fortune India in its list of India's 50 most powerful women in business. She has been ranked consistently in top 10 lists since 2011. Ma'am holds an LLM from Harvard Law School and has passed the New York State Bar. Ma'am is duly licensed to practice law in India and as well as in the United States. Besides this, she has also served on various advisory committees of the Confederation of Indian Industry, including its National Council and its Committee on Corporate Governance, Financial Services, Capital Markets, and Legal Services. Ma'am, it's our pleasure to invite you to address the August gathering.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate being asked to give a few words to this audience. Honorable Justice Raghuram, Professor Vivekanandan, Professor Uday Shankar, all the colleagues, faculty, friends, participants, good evening. Hidayatullah Law School for me personally, whilst all of us revere Chief Justice Hidayatullah, I remember meeting the Chief Justice on several occasions after he retired when he used to come to our house. My father, who was also a senior advocate, had a close friendship with Justice Hidayatullah. And I remember as a young girl, when I was sitting in the room listening to them talk, most of which I didn't understand, you could always see the thoroughness, the generosity, the grace with which Justice Hidayatullah conducted himself. And of course, as you know, he has left some seminal judgments for us never to forget. So it is an honor to be part of the address for the Hidayatullah National Law School. Congratulations also to the 38 teams that are participating. That's quite a number. And I'm sure the judges might have had a really tough time in figuring out who ultimately succeeded. I want to congratulate the Moot Court Committee because organizing this event must have been a real challenge. Over the years, this event has clearly become one of the most prominent moot events in the competition law space. And that is to the credit of each organizing committee and the law school faculty themselves. I'm delighted to be part of this inaugural ceremony. Last year, I was thrilled to see the performance of the students in the last edition of this event. And I'm sure that this year's performance and standards have gone even higher and surpassed, with all the students bringing out their oratory skills to their full extent and exceeded the high standards of the last edition. We all know how well and how briskly Indian competition law has evolved in the last 14 years. When the commission was first formed to consider the formation of the Competition Commission, there were pros and there were cons. There were members on that committee that dissented in favor and did not want a competition law at that stage, and said that you must not presume that big is bad. But ultimately, we have our act, and our act has really proved that it can perform, evolve, correct, and also move forward as required. As you know, the government is keen to overhaul some provisions of the act, and we are currently in the process of introducing the amendment bill in Parliament. The government has also realized, as has the Commission, that there is a need now to see and govern and look into the conduct of big tech companies, deep tech, and the digital markets that have really overtaken so many parts of our daily lives and affect the behavior and the spending of almost so many millions of citizens in this country. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has also set up a committee to separately examine whether there is a separate law required for competition in digital markets. My sense is over the years, the CCI has been a proactive regulator and has proposed changes as required from time to time. I think they have wanted to provide more teeth to themselves to curb anti-competitive practices. They're also thinking of introducing perhaps a compounding regime so that life can move on. The Green Channel is one of the remarkable innovations, and I think you students have no idea how much the international community has appreciated this innovation. As a moot court, you are provided as students with an excellent tool to prepare for eventual practice and to enhance your legal knowledge and hone your communication skills, research skills, and as lawyers, your ability to dance on your feet. If you can't think on your feet in a moot competition, then there's very little forum in which you can. So congratulations on building up that skill set and taking it into your future career. I'm glad to see that moot courts are being held regularly in competition law. Again, this is a growing area of law which people are getting more interested in, want to specialize in, especially since in many of the law schools in India, competition law may or may not form part of the academic curriculum. Compliments are also, of course, due to the CCI for encouraging such moot law competition. It again is no easy task for the logistical stress that it puts on our regulator, which is, I think, part of its advocacy efforts. And this is sure to also benefit what will be a competition bar that will get stronger and stronger in the future. As a firm, AZB, we are always looking to collaborate for guest lectures, for seminars, courses, and we are very happy to be associated with the Hidayatullah National Law School for this competition. I also want to announce that AZB and Partners is offering the winning team an opportunity to intern with us. So just to close, I wish to all success to all the participants. Whether you win or you don't win is not the point. It is the effort and the sheer hard work and the research that you have done to get here and to be part of this very, very prestigious competition conference. I wish you all success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that address. We do agree and hope that the performance and advocacy skills demonstrated in the past editions are upkept and exponentially increased in the years to come. We do hope that the lasting bond between AZB and Partners and HNLU becomes stronger in the years to come as well. I am now elated to have the opportunity to introduce our chief guest for the ceremony, Honorable Mr. Justice G. Raghuram. So graduated in science from Andhra University and in law from Osmania University and enrolled as an advocate in 1979. So joined the chambers of Sri V. Venkatramania, the former Advocate General of Andhra Pradesh, and soon acquired considerable practice in various fields and specialized in constitutional law and service matters. In recognition of his eminence, he was designated a senior advocate by the High Court of Andhra Pradesh in 1995. During his professional career, Sir appeared as senior counsel for various institutions, including the Government of India, the State of Andhra Pradesh, the Central University of Hyderabad, and various banks, including the State Bank of India. Sir's opinion holds authoritative sway in the field of constitutional law. Sir served as a judge of the Andhra Pradesh High Court for 14 years, and upon retirement in 2013, he was the head of the Customs, Excise, and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal for 3 years, and eventually retired in March this year after heading the National Judicial Academy in 2016. I would like to invite Sir to address this gathering and declare the commencement of this competition.
Vice Chancellor Dr. Vivekanandan, Vice Chancellor Tiwari, dear teachers, fellow students of law. The only justification for my being on the associate with this event is that I'm a friend of Dr. Vivekanandan, the Vice Chancellor. Second essential qualification I have by total ignorance of competition law. So I represent the rating. Madam Jia Modi, I'm privileged to make your acquaintance at least digitally. Father, a revered mentor of mine and a friend of mine, and one anecdote I wish to share with you that both of us worked in a unique case where the Chief Minister of the state accused the governor of the state of purloining his resignation letter and accepting it. Till now, it's still a history in the world. That was in 1995, 96. We were friends for over 4 decades. I've been seeing lately. And whenever I was in Delhi or went to Delhi, and the beggar used to give me vegetarian Parsi food. That I remember fondly. Quite a challenge. Now, I am slowly receding from my engagement with law for the past 2 years. Not that I've had enough, because I always felt that knowledge was not something you describe positively and describe it negatively as the progressive elimination of ignorance. So it's not as though I have understood the law in any dimension worth the mention. But I have realized that as in the laws of physics, mathematics, so to the laws of society, there's a universe of entropy, small motes of dust of order. And this, over generations, over eons of human history, this has proved to be the verity. Like all young guys, when I became a judge, I thought, my predecessors haven't done an efficient job. In 6 months, I'll set things right. I'll try to reduce the quantum of litigation. After 6 months, I realized that litigation was there before me, it will be there after me, both during my tenure on the terra firma and thereafter. And these new laws to meet the new challenges, particularly of competing magisteria, competing, overlapping, conflicting magisteria like patent law, for instance. There are huge areas where it is in conflict with competition law. Then in the field of constitution, we find coalescence of the multicellular world into almost a complex cell of a global community. Conflicting with nationalities and sovereignties. So in every field there is competition, and therefore balancing these conflicts is the task of the policymaker. Policymakers have huge challenges. They're always the dilemma whether economic growth should be catalyzed, or sovereignties should be prioritized. Then the world is always in a turmoil. A small ripple at the other end of Earth produces tsunamis elsewhere. It was not the phenomenon about 3-4 decades ago. As we have said, is big bad? We don't know. Time has to tell. But there is always growth in the medical science. Oftentimes, growth is not considered healthy. Not the ordinary growth, but the fast growth. When a cell grows, when it is not supposed to, it's called carcinogenic. So growth could be detrimental beyond a point. And growth at what cost? Growth at the cost of competition. Markets always, market economy is all right, but a market society, as Michael Sandler points out, is not necessarily a good thing for society. These are the various importance that you have to deal with. Another thing that I was just thinking when I was sitting there is that as lawyers, 50 years ago, there were generalist lawyers, as there were general practitioners who knew your father, grandfather, aunts, and all that, and knew your entire family's physiological history. Today, they are specialists. There are left eye 6 o'clock ophthalmologists. They don't know the other areas of their left eye either. So when you attend the various moot courts, when you study law in its various dimensions, then when you go into the practice, and many of the premier law schools, the students don't go to the master courts. They start with, I think, the maximum high courts. Many of them start with the Supreme Court, and at that stage, you should become super specialists, left eye, 6 o'clock ophthalmologists. So after getting exposure to various branches of law and various cutting edge clinical sessions like moot courts, what is the area that you choose? Sometimes when we were young lawyers, and when Madam Zia also was a young law professional, she didn't, I don't think you had a particular penchant for whatever you're doing now. You just went into it, and then the clients decided what you should be. That's how it used to evolve then. But now we are already labeled corporate lawyer, a tax lawyer, a competition lawyer, and then more and more of less and less. There are huge areas outside the holistic view. For instance, when I was in the National Judicial Academy, we had 4 or 5 different panelists talking about patent law. One is, the global communities, treaties, and other regulations which need to prioritize the rights of patent holders. Then the other point of view was that there are other treaties and conventions, international conventions, which prioritize human rights like health, the well-being of the bigger sections of the global community. So sometimes these two are in conflict. Now, if you are only a patent lawyer, then perhaps you miss out on the wider cross currents of how the law should operate to bring about an equilibrium of conflict among legal regimes and competing legislation. These are concerns that are deep, concerns that are always there, and as technology exponentially grows, today even the digital economy is perhaps not the current concern. Digital economy accelerating with the pace of artificial intelligence, then cutting edge researchers into various areas of theoretical physics like string theory. has its effect on neuronic understanding. These are the new dimensions of the problems that policymakers, regulators, and practitioners of competition law as well will have to face. Today, big corporations, big businesses have the capacity to hire talent which can figure out not only what the regulators and the policymakers are up to, but that what they are going to be up to in future. And just as we have in another older democracy, the oldest democracy, lobbyists, there could be artificial intelligence catalyzed lobbyists for policy and regulation also. These are challenges that as practitioners you'll have to meet. Not all of you will be, when you become lawyers and choose competition law as your field in the profession, not all of you may be representing only the big businesses and corporations. You may also be representing the underdogs. So I find today's practitioners have a greater social responsibility than in our times, where chasing the dollar was the only criterion. Now I find a lot of social responsibility among the young students as well as the young people who are entering the legal profession. And we have had the experience and we have had evidence of a number of senior practitioners who are doing a lot of pro bono work, also appearing pro bono for the week and the oppressed. And Zia Modi's institution is one example of what they are doing in that area. Some of you may also be inclined to work not only for the haves, but also for the have-nots. And have-nots today are not merely in terms of wealth. Anybody who doesn't have information is an impoverished member of society today. I wish the competition all success. We have got the brilliant minds, mentors advising you and guiding you along the way. I've read the boat problem, quite complex, quite challenging. If you bring out the best in you, I wish you a good fight, but a fair fight, and may you all win. I declare the competition open.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening words. It was indeed an honor to hear from you. I would now request Honorable VC, sir, to accord the esteemed chief guest with a memento.
After greeted to that,
See that. I would now request the respected registrar, sir, to please felicitate Zia Modi ma'am. The souvenir shall be presented to Bharat Budhoria, sir, in her stead.
Proceeding towards the next part of our inaugural session, we have with us our Honorable Registrar Professor Dr. Uday Shankar, sir. Sir was previously associated with the Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law of IIT Kharagpur and was also the founding faculty of HNLU in 2003. He has been teaching and researching in law for more than 18 years. He has served as a guest professor under the MS Fellowship awarded by the Faculty of Law, University of Hamburg in year 2016. and recipient of the prestigious fellowship from the Max Planck Institute of Comparative Public Law and International Law, Heidelberg in year 2008. Professor Dr. Uday Shankar holds a PhD from the Delhi Law Faculty and specializes in public law and constitutional law. May I now request our Registrar Sir to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. We have assembled here for the inaugural function of the 13th edition of Hidayatullah National Moot Court Competition, a flagship event of the university. Moot courts are popular activities in the law schools, which aim at learning by doing. I have been entrusted with the duty to convey gratitude to everyone who has contributed in designing and guiding the event, especially the dignitaries sitting on the dais. I express my gratitude to Honorable Justice Sri T. Raghuram, former judge, Andhra Pradesh High Court, former director, National Judicial Academy, for presiding over this function and his address. Sir, you are a great source of strength and inspiration for HNLU community. Thanks for showering your blessings on this occasion. Professor V.C. Vivekanandan, Honorable Vice Chancellor, you are a constant inspiration for all the activities which take place in this university, sir. After having taken the reins of administration, the university has a new vigor and vitality. Sir, thank you for your valuable guidance from planning to execution stage of this event. Thank you, sir. The organizing committee and the university is thankful to Ms. Jaya Modi, SZB managing partner, for associating with prestigious moot court competition of the country and sparing valuable time to spare her thoughts on this occasion, though virtually. We really look forward to host her in coming days or months. I also thank Bharat, who represent the SZB partners in today's function. Thank you, Bharat, for joining on this event. I also thank the organizing committee through the secretary, Professor Anand Tiwari, for diligent coordination and industrious efforts to upscale the reputation of the competition by having a record number of registration in this edition of the event. My congratulations to the entire organizing committee. Please join me in acknowledging the hard work of the organizing committee, which comprises of 15 faculty members, 25 student members of the core team, 60 students coordinators, and 250 volunteers. Please give a big round of applause. Thanksgiving ceremony would be incomplete if I fail to convey my gratitude and thanks to administrative units. Thanks to engineering section, purchase section, state section, and IT section, and all the sections. They deserve appreciation for soldiering the responsibilities for making the event successful. Thank you very much. Lastly, let me thank the judges who have traveled from different parts of the country for judging the mooting skill of the participants. Let me thank the participants who have decided to display their mooting skill in well-sought competition in the law school circle. Wishing you all the best. Thank you, everyone, for joining this inaugural session and being part of this historical moment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the glorious and inspiring words.
Tonight marks the beginning of a thrilling journey for all of us as we come together to witness some of the most talented and dedicated law students across India in the 13th Justice Hidayatullah National Moot Court Competition. There may only be one team which will emerge as a winner in this competition, but for each participant, the exposure that is gained here will bring in victories in the future. Finally, I wish the organizers and the participants great success. I would request that post the national anthem, the judges and the faculty members please proceed to the judges' lounge and the participants to please retain their seats until further intimation from the student coordinators. May I now request the August gathering to rise and join us for the national anthem. All the participants are please requested to retain